What is up, guys? Archon Tsunami here, bringing you guys an updated version of the 8.1 notes that we talked about last month. I found a cleaner one and it has more changes on it, so we'll talk about it. If we find one like a week before 8.1 comes out with more changes, I'll go over those ones and see what's been changed. But for now, I'm just going to try to keep it to 3 videos. It's kind of late too, guys. I just got done doing our Overwatch video. I'm kind of tired, so please bear with me. And anybody who does PvP, if you guys can help anybody in the comment section below who has questions about some of these and where they rank, please answer them. I don't do a lot of PvP, so I can't give you guys an answer on some of these. I apologize for that. I'm more PvE than anything else. But without further ado, let's go ahead and hop into it. I will explain this one in a second. If anybody can actually explain the Blood Boil and Death's Caress, it looks like it's affecting Blood Plague, and I don't know what the change for Blood Plague is. Like, this doesn't make sense to me. So if anybody knows, let me know. This is a PvP change. Death and Decay now works with Necrotic Strike. So I'm pretty sure that'll help out a lot of people, especially on Unholy, because there's some change down there that you guys will get to in a second. Marrowren looks like it's getting a buff. Instead of 40%, it's 50%, or sorry, it's 50 times strength, not 40 times strength, not 50%. Oh, sorry, I had to cough. Yeah, I did the math. The number I had when I did the multiplication, I think was around 4 or 5,000. It's basically a 400 increase with those numbers. That's pretty good, I guess, considering the fact that we're losing 15% armor from Veteran of the Third War. They're also changing how Veteran of the Third War works because they're adding it to Frost and Unholy to give them a little bit more HP. And I can go back up here now, and I guess I'm zooming in for whatever reason. Why am I still zooming? Okay, that was weird. Anyway, I can go back up here. This is basically whenever you swap to blood, you now get a 50% stamina increase. And they did this because they gave Veteran of the Third War to the other two specs. So if they want to balance it and give like 15% more increased stamina to Frost and Unholy because they're not tanky enough or, HP enough, they can just come up here, nerf this by 5%, and the value for blood would be even still. Is what I think the whole reasoning is behind it, or what they want to do with it. Give me 1 second here. Sorry, guys. Sneezing. Bone Storm is also getting hit. This wasn't in the last video. It looks like it's only up to 15% now. So if you're using it for Mythic Plus damage, you're still going to probably use it for that. But if you're using it for burst healing, that's no longer a thing. From what I could tell, it looks like if you have 5 targets around you and you have 1 charge of Bone Storm, you're going to hit that cap and that's all you're going to get. Whereas if you're a single target and you were to pop this, you would want to have 50% so that way you still get the 15% healing max, and then you could save the rest for Death Strike. Not sure if it's going to kill Bone Storm and make the other two viable, Purgatory and the Vampiric Blood one. We'll see. I do know it may hurt and will the Necropolis a bit, because people may not be willing to go, like I said, under 30% for the 30% reduction. We talked about this in the last video. With the Bone Storm changes as well, I mean, there's no way to just bounce back instantly anymore on AoE pulls. So Rune Tap might end up taking its place, which could affect the first tier and Blood Drinker. People may stop running that because it costs the rune to use, and may run the Heart Strike one that increases your runic regeneration. Or runic power, not your runic regeneration. You know what I mean? Increases how much runic power you gain per Heart Strike. Which will then free up a rune for Rune Tap if people wanted to run that and, use it at 50% to stay alive. Plus, with Purgatory, you could maybe make a combo there to keep yourself up, worst case scenario. PvP talents, again, guys, I don't PvP, I can't really judge these, I can just kind of go by what it sounds like. Dark Simulacrum's getting a buff to where it costs none, and the cooldown's getting reduced by 5. I would imagine you could probably play around Simulacrum, so it's not really a good ability. I know in Cataclysm it was fun to use on like PvE content, because back in the day you used to be able to do that. And yeah, that was pretty fun skill. I can't imagine it being very good in PvP, because people could probably play around it with dead abilities. Heartstop Aura increased to 30% for cooldown recovery for everybody around you. They're also removing it from Unholy. Not sure if this is going to make the Heartstop aura viable or not. We'll see. You guys will have to let me know. Murderous Intent, nothing's really changing. They're just changing Intimidated to Focused. Remorseless Winter for Frost, they are just putting a range indicator in, so now you know it's 8 yards, whereas before there just wasn't anything there, so you just didn't know the actual range unless you tested it. Death Strike, this is a PvP change from what I've been told. I wish it was a PvE change as well. I don't see why they're doing this. It's going to cause people who do both to get screwed up on the cost at times. I'm sure people, when they first get used to it, are going to expect to have like 35 needed for the heal, or the heal's not going to be enough like they thought it was going to be. It's going to take time to get used to. Frostborn's Fury, you guys are losing 30% damage. It's not that bad. It's only 1200 damage for a single target, but I guess it adds up if you have multiple targets, obviously. You had 4000 attack, by the way. I just used 4000 for a lot of base numbers. Simulacrum, same thing. Looks like you guys are getting Winter is Coming from Legion, except for it's going to increase the cooldown on your Remorseless Winter, and it's going to reduce the yards to 5. Not sure if that'll be worth it. I don't know how stuns work for PvP. I don't know how effective they are. Frozen Center's getting removed. Instead, it's going to be Death Chill, where Remorseless Winter and Chains of Ice will apply Death Chill to your target. Give me a second. Sorry about that. Draw my keyboard too. Yeah, root 7 plays for 4 seconds, so same thing. You're getting a root and you're still keeping a root and you're getting a stun, but it costs your Remorseless Winter cooldown to go up. Heartstop Aura we talked about. Chill Streak, I don't know again how this scales with the Razor Ice debuff that you can put on targets to increase frost damage. I don't know if it stacks with that or not. Sounds interesting, especially with Lichborn. The 70% slow might be nice. Decomposing Aura, you guys are losing that. Because Unholy is keeping it with blood. Makes sense. You guys are keeping Heartstop or whatever. And Unholy gets the Decompose one. Delirium is getting an increase of 7 seconds, so that might be something to look at. I don't know. Lichborn basically gives you a stun, snare, fear, and root immunity. Gives you 30% damage reduction, but it slows you for 50%, which is why I said Chill Streak might be good with it, maybe. As far as I know, Death's Advance does not override this, so you cannot pop Death's Advance to move faster. Something that sucks about it. On to Unholy. Again, the PvP change, or PvE change, or PvP change, sorry guys. From what I've heard. Wish it was PvE as well. This is the PvP change we talked about on Blood. Same thing. Talked about this, talked about this. Decomposing Aura is removed from Frost. We've already talked about it. Unholy Mutation is getting removed. Crypt Fever is getting removed. Ghoulish Monstrosity is getting removed. And they're kind of getting reworked. Life and Death is now going to heal you for 10% of the amount that a person was healed if they had festering wounds on them. The Plague now erupts for 400 of normal eruption damage when dispelled. So instead of having a slow, and so basically the priest can leave this on the target and heal you for 10% if they're fighting, or whoever's healing can do that, and heal you for 10% of the amount, or they can remove it and eat 400% damage. It no longer deals the damage on expiration. So it may be something that people may just leave on. Hard to say. It'll be interesting to see. I think dot order might matter for Unholy. The cooldown of your Apocalypse is reduced. This is Necromancer's Bargain. But your Apocalypse no longer summons ghouls, but instead Crypt Fever to the target. Deals 8% of the target's maximum health and shadow damage over 4 seconds. Healing spells cast on this target will refresh the duration. So it seems like they don't want priests removing things off targets. Like, I don't know. That's what it seems to me like. Or not priest. I shouldn't say priest. I should say healer. I don't know why I keep saying priest. but they don't want them removing dots off targets. It's making you choose whether or not you want to remove it or if you just want to heal through it or what you want to do. Because if you, I'm pretty sure that dot removal works with it being the last or the first dot that was placed is the first dot removed in order. So if you were to put this on a target, they would heal you for 10%, but if they chose to remove it, they would deal 400% to the target. And Crypt Fever, they wouldn't be able to heal through because every time they healed, it would heal you for 10%, and then it would refresh the debuff, so they would be taking 8% over and over and over again. I think is the idea for this. Like I said, guys, it's late. Let me know if I'm wrong about that. I might be. I don't even know. Anyway, Necrotic Strike is 30% of attack power now instead of 16. And then it absorbs up to 8% of the target's maximum health and healing received. That seems like it could be quite a bit. Not sure if it's more than this. I'm probably is actually. When you use Pandemic on enemies, they removed Pandemic. Raise Abomination is the new one. And basically what it is for 25 seconds. It's basically the PvE talent that Unholy has in the first slot that puts Festering Wounds on a target, but it also adds our Plague as well. So he can put Plague and Wounds on a target. That's pretty cool. I wish that was a PvE talent as well, but it's sadly not. They removed Wandering Plague, so when it gets dispelled, it can't bounce around anymore. So as a whole, I think they're making it to where you actually have to manage your dots a bit and are making people choose between dispelling or healing through things. But it sounds like. We'll see. Could be a bit better for Unholy. Again, this doesn't make any sense to me. Somebody can explain that. That'd be cool. Transfusion is a PvP for tank or talent for tank where they generate 20%, reduces the runic power cost of Death Strike by 50% for 5 seconds, so they can heal a lot. This is blood only. Crimson Scourge activates, you gain 259 haste for 5 seconds and immediately gain 5 runic power. Not sure what that is exactly, but off the top of my head. We talked about Cold Hearted in the last video and why I think it's going to be good. Frost is getting more AoE to kind of offset the Breath of Cinder, or not the Breath of Cinder Ghost, but the Drake being nerfed. Here, give me 1 second. Sorry, guys. Oh, sinuses want to run because I haven't had any sleep. Pillar of Frost summons a Frost Whelp who breathes on all enemies within 20 yards in front of you for 864. So, and it gives you mastery up to 175. I'm sure that'll increase the Frost Whelp's breath damage too. So, that seems like it's going to be pretty good. I'm sure that'll probably offset. And that might actually be why you guys got nerfed on the dragon, is because of this Azerite power here. Because that's a borderline about the same amount of damage you're going to lose on an AoE pull anyway. Especially with the mastery stacking up. I'm sure you actually probably will deal even more damage with breath because of the mastery stacking. I don't know what talents you get or Azerite powers you guys run, but that one might be worth looking into for AoE to kind of offset the nerf. Hell Chains is a thing. We have to set it up for it. Basically, we all have to send our ghoul in, Dark Transform, and then try to be in between the mob and the ghoul in order to set this up. From what I've heard and what I've seen on testing, it looks like it deals quite a lot of damage, so it might be worth definitely specking or Azeriting into. It just depends what it's set to or what gear it's on. Sorry, like I said, tired. Yeah. I think it could be really cool. I wish that, like I said in the last video, Death Coil reduces our Dark Transformation cooldown. I wish Epidemic did as well. It would make more sense for the AoE to also, initiate more AoE for a cooldown. Don't get why it doesn't. Whatever. Already got into it last video. Um, Magus of the Dead, or Magus of the Dead, or however you want to pronounce it. This isn't really anything. This is just a tooltip change. We already talked about this. It's all going to depend on how many Shadow Bolts you get, whether or not it's going to be worth running, and how it works. From what I could tell, it seemed random, or it seemed like every other. I couldn't really tell. I didn't really get a lot of looks at it. Like I said, all this is here is just a tooltip cleanup for those who, I guess, were unsure of the duration of it. It lasts as long as Army does, 30 seconds. Oh, wait, what? Oh, no, wait, that's actually wrong. Army lasts 30 seconds, Apocalypse only lasts 15, so you're actually getting an extra 15 seconds for a minion. That's actually neat for Apocalypse. Huh. So you get the full duration for both. I remember talking about this in the other video and saying that it would be, what? What did it say? Like a 1.5 second cast time or something like that? So that'd be like 15 Frostbolts or 15 of the other. And what was it? If it was 15 seconds with Apocalypse, you'd only be getting 7 in. So this is actually cool. So you still get 15 spell casts. So that actually might not be that bad of a change. Or that might not be a bad thing to have, considering you can get like 3 Apocalypses, I think, in one army cooldown. No, actually, no, I'm way off on that. It's definitely not 3. It's like 4 or 5, right? So it'd be 5 for 5 minutes. Then it's a minute 30 cooldown, I believe. No. Yeah, it's a minute 30. Because it syncs up pretty well with Soul Reaper. Yeah, it's a minute 30. I want to say, sorry guys, I'm not entirely sure, like I said. Um, so minute 30, that'd be 7. Yeah, so you can get about 5 in. 5 apocalypses in before one more army comes up. So yeah, that might actually be quite a bit of damage. We'll see. Anyway, sorry for the end there, guys. Like I said, I'm trying to do math when I'm tired. It don't work. No math when I'm tired. That does it for the DK changes. I think Blood is going to be in a rough spot. I'm not sure how it's going to affect them. It's going to depend on how high of a mythic you're doing, whether or not you're going to swap out Bone Storm, because it's not going to heal you for what it used to. It's not going to be a source of burst healing anymore, which is going to hurt you guys a lot, or hurt them a lot. I don't know if it's going to hurt them in the point where they can't do quest content anymore, because right now I can't quest on Unholy because I just get blown up. I would rather quest in Blood and then just stay alive. I don't know if it's going to hurt us enough to where that's no longer going to be viable and you're better off just running Unholy. We'll see. I think Frost is going to be fine. Like I said, you guys can swap to the Frostwhelp's Indignation in order to offset some of the nerfs that you guys are getting with the dragon. 1200 is a lot, but if you hit multiple targets, 175 mastery is probably going to make up for that with the Frostwhelp. Not to mention, Breath of Synagosa gets a little bit of boost for mastery. So yeah, I think you guys are going to be okay on Frost. You're not getting hit anywhere near as hard as what Blood is. And as for Unholy, we didn't really get any changes. We just got 2 Azerite powers. So I guess we dodged the nerf hammer. That's something, right? The only thing we really got was a PvP change. Necrotic Strike for PvP as well. I wish we would have got more PvP stuff. I really wish those Death Strike changes were PvE. We'll see. Anyway, I'll be sure to do another update video. Like I said, once I know when 8.1 is for sure coming, I'll check like a week before, maybe 2 or 3 days or something, and then do an update video again if any of these numbers or any of these things have changed. As it stands now, like I said, final verdict, Blood is gonna be hurting a bit. People are gonna have to get used to it again. I think some runes are gonna get, or some talents are getting changed. I don't think Bone Storm's gonna be as viable as it once was. I think Blood Drinker might get switched. People are still running it. People are going to be running the Heart Strike one, so that way they can generate more runic power. So they have Death Strike, so that way they can burn a rune on rune tap, so that way they can use it at higher levels to keep themselves up. Purgatory might become a thing, or Vampiric Blood. The Vampiric Blood cooldown might also help, especially if the first talent's getting run where you're getting more runic power. Because every time you spend runic power, you get your cooldown reduced on your other. So we'll see. It's going to be interesting for Blood, like I said, going forward. Frost, you guys really didn't get hit that hard, especially with the new Frost Whelp. I think that'll help you guys out a lot. It'll offset those nerfs. And Unholy is still Unholy. We still need a couple key changes. Like I said, Epidemic would be nice if it reduced the cooldown on Dark Transformation, so that way we could funnel into our AoE and not feel bad about having to single target during an AoE fight. Because right now it feels horrible to have to Death Coil. I'm not even like saying give Sudden Doom the ability to proc Epidemic, which would be nice, but just Epidemic alone should be able to give you the 1 second cooldown for Dark Transformation, just so that way you can keep Hell Chains going. And you can keep your AoE up and not feel, like I said, bad about having to single target something down. Anyway, hopefully you guys enjoyed. Like I said, this video was kind of out there a bit because I'm a bit out of it. Thanks for watching. Again, guys, in the comment section, let me know what you guys thought of this video. Yeah, and help out again. I can't stress this enough. Please help out anybody who may have questions about the patch that I may have made a mistake in explaining something. Like if they have questions about some of the PvP talents, please help them out. Like I said, I don't PvP. I was just theory crafting. That's all I can do with this because, again, like I said, I don't PvP. So please don't take this as me saying these talents are 100% good now. Run them. Don't. Anyway, with that, I will see you guys on the next video. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you guys later.